Africa wants to know the land. Africa is my father's land. Yes, Africa is my father's land. We let my people go. We want to rule from Cape to Cairo. We let my people go. We want to rule from Cape to Cairo. Will you free my people's land? We want to rule like Papa's land. I say, will you free my brother's land? We want to rule like Papa's land. Who owns Papa's land? Papa's land, 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 Papa's land. Now listen carefully. All right, sister, also listen. Chinese are ruling in China land. Yes, Chinese are ruling in China land. Japanese are ruling in their Japan. Japanese are ruling in their Japan. England is being governed by Englishmen. England is being governed by Englishmen. Americans are ruling America. Oh. Yes, Americans are ruling America. So Africa must be ruled by Africans.
Who owns the land?
Africa must be ruled by Africans.
Chairman Africa.
Who owns Papa's land?
What's up with you?
Papa's land. Who owns Papa's land? Papa's land.
National President Shehu Kamara.
Who owns Papa's land?
Who owns Yola?
Papa's land. Papa's land. Who owns Papa's land? Papa's land. Papa's land. Angola want to know who owns the land.
Amen.
Mozambique want to
Who
know
owns the land? Who owns the land? Who controls Yola?
want to know.
They said the chairman of the board, that training expired 11:59 last night, or the president that was not re-elected at the Yola convention.
Freedom fighters want to know who owns the land.
Who has the moral and legal right to continue with the affairs
Will you let my people
of Yola?
Will you let my people go? We want to live from Cape to Cairo. Papa's land.
Who owns the land? Why are Liberians fighting always when it comes to leadership? What's going on in our land? Who owns the Papa land? Who owns Yola? Who runs Yola? And who owns the land? Chairman Africa, chairman of the board of Yola, and President His Excellency Shehu Kamara. Both of them has serious problem. Shehu went for re-election. There was no election due to interruption. And Africa term expired as of yesterday, according to the president and the vice president. So if there was no election and Shehu was not re-elected, then who runs the affair if the board term expired? Folks, my name is J. Joshua K. Powell. I'll soon be joined with my folks to discuss the issue. So you can also join us. You can call in to give your input. Who do you believe should run the affairs of Eula at this point in time? There was a land. We want Eula back. What's about the internal fight within Ohio? Powell versus LRCI. Who runs LRCI when it comes to delegations to Eula Convention? Is it Powell or is it the chapter? We'll be discussing all these issues. But who runs the land? Who owns the land? Beautiful song right here by a Nigerian veteran. The numbers are on the screen: 40165-40146 are the number to call to give your input. I'll be joined shortly by what's up? What now? What? There you go. No, put it on. Put it on. See you one again. I'll try to one. Let's see you. We want to know who owns the land. Power struggle between the gentlemen. Who owns the land? Shehu Kamara, Alfred C. My guys are finally difficult to join, so try to. Yeah. I'm trying to come back. Better wait for a minute. You gotta be following. We'll be back for a minute now. Beautiful F1 Nana Sapon. All right, Big John, but my man Vagabond Cherie.
We want to know. Yes, we want to know. I said we want to know.
We want to know.
Africa wants to know.
I like that theme song.
We want to know who's running Eula right now. Is Eula our leadership?
We let my people go. We want to rule from Cape to Cairo. We let my people go. We want to rule from Cape to Cairo. Will you free my people, sir? We want to rule like Papa's land. I said, will you free my brothers, sir? We want to rule like Papa's land.
Want to know.
Para Soweto.
Hi, Soweto, my brother. Vale. We first turn enemy in the name of politics.
Yeah.
Now listen carefully.
Uh,
Oh, politics has no friends.
yeah.
Chinese are ruling in China
The
land.
Chinese are ruling Chinese land,
Yes, Chinese are ruling in China land.
and the West are ruling the white
Japanese are
land.
ruling in Japan.
Why
That's
Africa
right.
can't rule their own?
Japanese are
Beautiful
ruling
song
in
with strong
India.
message.
England is being governed by Englishmen.
Yeah.
England is being governed by Englishmen. Americans are ruling America. Oh.
That
Yes,
means legal there.
Americans are ruling America. So Africa must be ruled by Africa.
That's right.
Yeah.
Why we cannot
Africa
have
must be ruled
United
by
Africa
Africa.
Yeah.
when you have
Another
50?
topic.
Yeah.
Papa's land,
Make the United States.
Papa's land, Papa's
But
land.
once we want to do that, then we get serious problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Papa's land.
Papa's
Shehu
land,
Kamal, president of ULA, FSC, chairman of the board. Both of them are on power struggle.
Papa's land,
We want to know who owns ULA right
Papa's
now.
land,
Shehu Kamal was not elected,
Papa's land.
and FSC turned it in yesterday.
Angola want to know who owned the land.
Who runs the affair?
Mozambique want to know who owned the
The
land.
land. We want to know who owns the land.
Namibia want to know who owned the land.
First, let me say welcome to the conversation. My name is J. Joshua K. Powell. I've been joined by Vakamu Sharif. And in a few seconds, we'll be telling the media down to discuss the issue.
Freedom fighters want to know who owned the land.
The freedom fighters want to know, the progressive.
Africa want to know.
Yeah.
Who are
Oh,
the
you gotta
progressive?
get the progressive on here, though, comrade.
People go.
Who are the progressive? So your man went
People go.
in the name of the progressive at the UNA convention. We have been told that there was so many disruption in the process. All right. Beautiful song right here. It's about 11 minutes long. And I just love the wordings of the song.
Yeah.
Who owns the land? Tell us who owns the land. The freedom fighter want to know. The people involved want to know who owns the land. Because the Chinese are ruling their own land,
Yeah.
the Americans are ruling their own land. But when it comes to us, then they want to get involved. I just commented on the EU representation in Liberia for the coming election. I don't know when last the Western up had the election and sent for delegate, from the African region to come and participate, to come and monitor their election. But you see, all of these things boil down to our inability to be able to control ourselves. So since we cannot control ourselves, then we'll have people to do this for us, you know. But it is a sad thing. It's not this.
Hello?
Get on mute. You're not talking. Your sound is,
Okay, let me get on mute.
yeah. No, but before you went mute, before you went off, I was just talking about the EU representation to Liberia on the election. And I was just saying, when was the last time a delegate from Liberia went to any of the Western country election? You know, when we're having an election in Africa, they will send people to come and monitor our issue, our election. And whenever they say the election is free and fair, we believe it. What or not is free and fair. Like take for Nigeria. Nigeria election was clear. They were saying it was free and fair. And the whole world believed that it was free and fair. Even though we know that it was not free and fair, we saw people being, marginalized in the process. But because we cannot handle our own issue, our inability to handle our own, you know, issue, make people to feel that we are not responsible enough. So the same thing happened a few days ago. Let me just give you a rundown of what we're going to be talking about. Basically, we're talking about the EULA convention. This year is supposed to be election for EULA to either re-elect Shehu Kamara or to elect a new person. And from the onset of the process, there were so many ups and downs, especially from our chapter where Fulawo got involved. This Fulawo sent a delegate of 17-person, LRCR sent delegate of 10-person, and we didn't know, we don't know who responsible to send delegates. It became a serious issue. I think in Georgia, the same thing happened in Georgia, in Pittsburgh, it happened in Pittsburgh. And everybody, almost all the chapters that went to that convention had serious problem as to who to send, delegates on the chapter behalf. It is unfortunate that the whole ULA convention, ULA constitution does not have any provision for what has happened. There is no provision in the ULA constitution to say if there is a cancelled election, what will happen. This is a new phenomenon. So they got no idea on the next step on what to do. So what is happening now? And then unfortunately, the Bowl and the current leadership, they are not in one understanding when it comes to the whole issue that is happening. The Bowl immediately the election was cancelled. The Bowl released that they were taking charge until an interim government will come in power and then subsequently go for election. The president came back with backfire, said that the Bowl was not in the right position to say that. Why would the Bowl want to take power when they don't have that authority? The president claimed that even if there were election, after election, he still had 30 days to turn over power. Why it is true that I agree with that statement, but there was no election, which there is no provision for it. So the president holding on to the fact that there is no provision for a cancelled election, he still had 30 days to be in office to turn over power if he had lost the election. The chairman of the board said no. The constitution provides that if there is no president, we will take over. But now the chairman of the board term will expire as of yesterday, 11:59. Matter of fact, Chairman CA should not even be presiding over any board uh, in Yula, not to even talk about him being as a board chair. He cannot even be a board member at Yula because the chapter that he represents has fired him. LIC has sent a letter sometime, I think that was in 2021. I'll grab the letter let me just grab a letter for you. I just want to be hitting. I don't know why you are from home. I just wanted to be uh, giving some of the intro I want to discuss while you are heading home. Then I'll just give you the flow to give your input. But as holding all things constant, you must be a member of your board to represent your chapter. You must be a member of your board. But according to the LRCR, LRCR, Chairman CA has been fired long since. They sent a letter letter dated January 10, 2022, to the Secretary General of Fulao, sending in their new course of officer. What I mean is, Chemesie is no more a board member for them. But Fulao, in their whatever reason they have, refused to honor this invitation, to honor this letter. So if they don't honor this letter, it means Chemesie still has power. If they honor this letter, then Chemesie should have been out of Eula Bo long since 2022. So I was just giving you some of the issue that we are going through right now. This is where Chemesie is saying. Chemesie also has an argument to say, oh yeah, but you send your letter to Fulao, who's supposed to be the Liberian umbrella in Ohio, to declare that I've been fired or I've been removed or replaced. But I did not get any response from Fulao, so I stayed the board chairman. That could be his argument of being a board chairman. But on the other hand, the training has expired yesterday. So if even we agree that Chemesie and the board will take over the leadership of Fulao, how are they taking over? They are not have any election. They don't have any new course officer. So Fagamu, those are the things we're discussing. What is your take? Who owns the motherland? You are still mute. You are, I don't know, low or mute one of them. I can't hear you. Maybe you want to go off and come back because you are not audible. We can hear you. All right. So the chairman will go off and come back, and then yeah. So chairman here, they put on an argument. Say, okay, yeah, they say they fired me, but I did not receive anything from my boss. The boss who was a big James, the Secretary General. I did not receive anything from James. So let me know that I have been fired. But again, did you also respond to the LRCR people when they send you this letter? Did you tell them that did you tell them that, oh yes indeed, you know, because I am being informed that when this letter was sent to Fulao, they also copied the chairman that his services were no longer needed at Fulao at LRCR, and they had a new co-officer. So did the chairman respond to these people? Say, look, you know what? I think I take our time. Or okay, thank you for letting me know. I need so time to put myself together, or I'm not leaving. The chairman, did he respond? No. So LRCI has been held hostage, waiting for the Fulao Secretary General to acknowledge their request that they have resolved to give power to new Kusa officer. Chemesie is still in power. For whatever reason that he's still in power, we don't know. For the record, we invited Chemesie to give his input on what is unfolding because the president, Shehu, and his vice president accused chairman of being in the wrong. He also said that Chemesie has no moral ground to serve as chairman after yesterday, chairman of the board after yesterday. They also claim that the position of the bull is not in accordance with the constitution. It says that they still have 30 more days if even they have lost the election. They still have 30 more days to conduct the affairs in Europe. But then the bull came out strongly and said nobody should do business with Shehu and his team. If you want to do any business, you're going to do that with the bull. And now with Shehu Kamara, we will now and Shehu Kamara and his team. So it is a confusing situation at this moment. Shehu and his team, uh, Shehu and his team cannot be recognized as the legit uh, officer for Yula, and as well as Shehu saying that the bull is not in the right position to say that they still have time. Well, it is a serious issue. It's a Liberian issue. Every time we go for election or we go for, a democratic process, we cause trouble. We make noise. We come with some argument that will not end well. It just happened a few days ago at the Basel convention. You know, people felt disenchanted. Some people walk away. And it is it's normal in the Liberian setting. Everywhere you go, wherever you see Liberians, there is some kind of confusion. Confusion. We don't know when we will really realize that we are to set example in the African community because we tested demo democracy a long time, so we should know better. But it's unfortunate that we do not practice while we preach, and so we find ourselves in this thing. And it put us in a very hard spot that every time we will continue this happening because the new generation that will come after us, they will do the same thing because they saw their forefather doing it. They saw us not being peaceful. They saw us not following rules and regulation. So once you don't follow rules and regulation, you are bound to fall in this kind of serious problem. So the people will spend their money, take off vacation to go for convention intended to elect new course of officer or to re-elect people that are in power. And for some reason nobody will have remorse to conduct themselves, but instead dis- disrupt the process, you know. And it is an ongoing thing. It is an ongoing thing. Even back home, people insult people in the name of politics. People support their political godfathers and insult other people in the name of politics, and so on and so forth. You know, and we keep on doing that. So, what message are you sending out there? If we in the diaspora, we live in one of the best country in the world that practice, democracy, law and order, and good governance. If we cannot practice these things that we are seeing where we are, how do you call people back home to even advise them? What advice are you going to give them? Hmm? We just imagine we are about to have our own election in Liberia. Can Eula send representation to go and monitor the Liberian election? Can they do that? On what grounds? What moral right do they have to send somebody to go and monitor the election in Liberia when they cannot conduct their own election? When their own election ended in chaos? Hmm? When their own election ended in chaos. So You you cannot do that. You cannot just do that. It's just so sad. It is unfortunate that we find ourselves, in such a condition. People, educated people, as we claim to be, cannot even conduct themselves. Cannot conduct themselves. You know, everybody want to be politician, but the ones that know the way to go about being a politician. You know, you want to be politician, but how? You don't even practice the real politics. You don't practice real politics. I don't know how to bring things that politics mean fighting and disturbing. Whenever they go to a major political gathering, they must fight, they must disturb, and something. Why? Why do we think that is the way forward? You know, why do we think that politics mean you gotta fight, you gotta destroy things? That's the only way we can feel good as politicians in Liberia. You know, you have to you have to fight, you have to insult. And in Liberia, they say the man who have the louder voice wins the argument. The louder voice man wins the argument. So if you cannot be shouting and yelling at people and giving false information, your case is not even, notified, because you are not shouting, because you are not lying. So we don't do clean politics again in Liberia. You gotta lie on somebody's name, you gotta malign somebody's character just to gain political relevance. So I really want to see whether you're not gonna send the representation to Liberia, you know. And what I'm gonna tell the people? Oh, you gotta be free and fair, you gotta do the right thing. How do you go about with those kind of message when even you yourself, you got serious problem? You got serious problem. Your house is not in order. It is shameful. It is embarrassing. ULA is the biggest Liberian organization in the diaspora. Biggest Liberian organization. And the ULA make decision, serious decision when it comes to Liberian body politics. And you cannot conduct yourself. Everybody that went to that convention that make sure that the convention was not successful, you have a serious problem. You have a serious problem, because no matter what, we should be the one to set the rules. We should want to be the example in the house. We should be the big papa in the house. Put aside differences and put Liberia first. That's what we say. We're putting politics above putting nation above politics. So that Liberia be the uh, focus point. Not your personal gain, not your personal interest, not what you think you want to do. Everybody right now, everybody want to show strength. Everybody want to show strength. You know, everybody want to show how powerful they are. So they put a strong resistance. Nobody want to bow down. Nobody want to give anybody audience, and they misbehave. There are a lot of videos, people making noise, responsible people. Do you know what I mean? To cut off from your job, from your family, take hotel, just to go and disrupt, just to go and be adamant. It is unfortunate. It is very, very unfortunate. I just um, feel that we we have not gotten there yet. We have not gotten there yet. Liberians we need to do better. Oldest African nation, and up to now, we can't make a decision. We can't feed ourselves. We can't govern ourselves. Nothing we can do. Nothing. Nothing we can do for ourselves because of these small small things. Brothers are fighting everywhere you go. They're fighting among themselves. They can't keep common peace among themselves. But you want to be like other people. Other people sacrifice. Other people let things go. Other people, for the sake of the country. But no, we will not do it for the sake of the country. We want to show strength. We want to show power. So you destroy a whole convention because somebody want to show strength. And nobody want to bow down to anybody. So you destroy the whole convention. But you will want to send representation to Liberia on the on national election to say what? How do you advise the people? What do you tell them? What message are you going to give the Liberian people about having election? Because you just had your own and you could not even conduct it well. You disturb the whole place. You disrupt your own process. You disrupt your own process. So how do you send representation to Liberia now to tell them what? Oh, gentlemen, you need to be, you need to govern well. You need to have a peaceful election. When yours were not even peaceful, you're living in in the world best. I mean, one of the you're living in the world best country that practice democracy, that practice rules and order, that practice good governance. But you bring your Liberian mentality here, and you can't do it. You can't follow rules and regulations. Power struggle, people fighting among themselves, and you can't govern yourself. But you want to go now to represent Liberia, Chief.
Yeah.
So you are coming. I was just giving you the rundown on what is unfolding. This is. I mean, it might sound funny, but it's a very serious issue. We are living in the United States where we practice good governance, democracy, rules and order. And we as inhabitants cannot learn from these people. We disrupt our election, cancel election. People took off vacation time, went for the purpose of either re-electing or electing new course of officer, and the whole place went chaotic. What is your view?
Thank you. Thank you. First and foremost, I'd like to apologize for coming on late, but I want to tell everybody in Radio Land or on social media, welcome to this program. So this is a sticky topic, and it caught my attention. So it caught my attention in as much as Eula is an. I mean, they at the top, the pinnacle, the top echelon of Liberian organization in Americas or in the Americas, extension Europe or South America, Canada. So to see an organization of that magnitude, an organization of that caliber, an organization that prefers to have professionals who might go to Liberia and take power, or who might go to Liberia and replace the incompetence to perform to such a dismal level. I mean, this gone 49 General Assembly is it just speak volume. It speak volume to their leadership. It speak volume to their character, and it also speak volume to the level of pettiness that our body politic have reduced itself to. Okay, so let me just dive into the historicity, the constitution, and other stuff, a bylaws that govern both organizations, which is Eula and that of Falao, which has stagnated the full movement of the organization. So the Falau, I will start with Falau. The Falau organization, they have a bylaw that govern the chairmanship or people that is sent to EULA. And then those are members that that are taken from various, local level organization chapters. You get me? So,
Mm-hmm.
for instance, we'll use LRCR as a case study. So, LRCR usually send two members to Falau as their representative that goes to EULA. So, those members are usually elected members according to Falau or EULA constitution. According to EULA constitution, not Falau. Those are elected members that LRCR usually send to Falau, and then Falau in turn will send those members to EULA as their representative. And then EULA will convene, and then between those members, like all other organizations, and then elect or chairman or elect board membership. So the argument here that I've been seeing on social media is, so the members that LRCR sent to Falau were members that were not elected. You get me? So FSCA didn't get elected for the last LRCR election. So, and then the other guy, James or Wanyu or Jim Jomoyu, also was not a member. He's not a member of LRCI either. He is from Toledo, somewhere there. But those are the two members that were representing Ohio, which is Falao on the ULA chapter. So now LRCI argument here is FSCA was not an elected board member. So his tenure had expired like a year ago, 2021, when LRCI changed their constitution, and then they had election, and then eventually they saw new board membership that were elected. So, and then, so if FSCA is sitting on EULA chairmanship, but he's in default in his local chapter that's supposed to send him there. So his chairmanship is invalid. You get me?
Yeah.
So if his chairmanship is invalid with EULA, so with Falau, then which means it's invalid at EULA chairmanship as well. So they filed a protest. They wrote EULA, but then they did the protest wrong. They filed a protest to the president of EULA office. So that protest should have gone to the election commission that this member is not a legitimate member from our local chapter. So he can be sitting on EULA board, but they sent a letter to the president of EULA, which is what's his name, Shiwon Kamara. So Shiwon Kamara received that communication, and then sat on it too. I didn't think he acted upon that communication until they went to the
let me just hold you right there. So
yeah.
FSCA was not elected. They're
going election. Yeah, they're going election. They're going LSCA.
So they wrote Falao,
yeah,
let him know that this man is no more, legit to represent us.
Yes.
Why did they wait until this convention?
That's the issue that the board or FSCA and his guys are raising. You see, and that's a legitimate concern. So the background is the listing. It all derived from this listing that was submitted to EULA for delegates.
Right.
You get me? So the listing, LICR submitted a list, a comprehensive list. And Falau Secretary General James submitted the list as well. So the constitution that governs those delegates, the purview lies within Falau. It don't lie within LICR. You get me? Yeah. So LICR listing were not endorsed by Falau. You see, their comprehensive list of 27 people or 20 people were not endorsed by Falau. So Falau gave LICR 10 delegate to a point. So when they appointed that delegate, Falau went and added 17 more. So that listing brought a rigmarole between a late conflict between both Elasia and Falau. So we got to get to the origin of this problem. You see, so that conflict went back and forth. So they term this guy Afresi as an illegitimate representative from Falau to Eula. So and by constitution, Eula constitution, they are right. The local chapter election, their both chairmanship is one that represent to Falau by extension Eula. So you see, so that's what brought the protestation. So LRCR protest that CA was not the right guy to represent or to represent Falau on Eula. So they did
This is
legitimate.
this is my consent, Chairman.
Yeah.
LRCR or one of the chapter in Fulao knows that they do not have a representation on the board.
Sure.
They went for the election. If there were going to be election and they were re-elected or new government going to come about, they wouldn't have raised this issue. They were
Okay.
they were going to scratch it on the carpet because they won the election going back with the illegitimate chairman. Because
Yeah.
2022, you wrote for out that this man is no more in your employ.
Yes.
You have new people.
Yeah.
They don't
And they
respond
sent
to
two
you.
lists. They sent two chairmen. They sent two person
Right,
to Falau. Yes.
right.
So
So Fulawa refused to listen to you. You have an electoral body that's supposed to go on the whole process. You did not
yes.
speak to them.
No.
You allow Alfred to go and go and organize the program because he's
Yes.
the chairman.
Chairman. And you recognize him as chairman too.
Yeah, he recognizes him as chairman. So you see, so Alfred is holding on to that. That's why he declared that the boy is in charge.
So yeah. So it looked like Steve from Stick made God laugh. You get me? As funny as it might seem, LICA had a ulterior motive. You get me? So Georgia chapter has similar issue. You get me? So I think the delegates were shifting to the Keita Nangbe team. So in order to solidify that election, they wanted to make sure that there are people that they obviously LRCI were leaning toward the Camara and Maneuver team. So they wanted to make sure that all the listings they sent in were people that were voted for their team. But not knowing the responsibility of picking delegate lies within Falau. You get me? So Falau was leaning towards, like I say, the other team. So it's like Stephen Stieg, may God laugh. So when they got there, they sent in the listing, and then the chairman of the board, which is CA, he contested the list. You see? And then they said CA was not the legitimate chairman. So they raised that issue. So, like you said, why didn't you raise that issue first
Right,
before going to the election?
right.
So, that's the issue there. But in all fairness, though, say terms expire as a board chair, or was it yesterday or day before yesterday?
11:59.
Yeah. So we have similar issue in the Lofa County Association too. So by right, if Shion or Ketak were being elected, they had like 30 days to, Shion stay high 30 days to transition Yula to the new leadership.
Yeah.
So you see, so both people now, or both individual, both leaders are really now not a legitimate leader. So the president for Yula don't really need to listen to what CA says. CSU don't need to listen to him. So the only way we can bring this situation together or arrest this situation is the appointment of an interim or acting president and
So now,
acting chairmanship.
so now to that point, Shehu
Yeah,
said, Shehu said there is no provision in the constitution about
yeah,
cancellation of election. They have never had the situation before. They have never happened before, and there is no provision there for it. They never envision that there will be election cancel. So the constitution does not provide. So sheer point is, since it is not there, it means I tell it this to be in power. And
yeah.
with
But the very constitution say the
Mhm.
board is the highest decision making body in the
Right.
absence of a convention or general assembly. They don't call it convention in the absence of the general assembly. So the board too has, I mean, the legitimate power or to appoint an interim leadership, okay, an interim leadership to spearhead the affairs of the organization until they can go to election. This is an unprecedented and unfortunate situation, but I think both teams have to come to the table to mediate and see how best they can take the organization to an election. But both are also out of status. Hold on one second. Let me
I
get a
mean,
charge.
yeah. This is a serious issue, folks. Very serious issue. You see, and that's why rules are very important to uh, to be carried out. It's always good to spell out issues because you can never tell when something will happen. Now we are struggling because there was nothing on paper for this. They never had any provision
Yeah, yeah.
that if an election is cancelled, this is what gonna happen. I think the only
Yes.
clause. Yeah, go ahead, Chief. You
So,
say something?
like you
Yeah.
said, they didn't have no provision. You said they didn't have no provision, but this is how organization and government work. So
Mhm.
there will only be a provision or amendment to the constitution if there's crisis. So
Yeah.
now the funders or the handlers of this organization might put a provision into place
We'll
that
have
just
to.
in case if election is canceled or the board kind of just at last minute to time cancel election, there should
Mhm.
be an acting leadership before either the current leadership act for 30 days or the board appoint a new leadership that will spearhead the new election. So in policy, if there's issue, you write about it or you kind of find a solution to it. So I think the future leadership that will be one of the attacks to find solution to this crisis. But this is a stale mail, and we're not seeing the bull backing down, and the leadership they are not backing down as well.
Yeah.
So I beseech the eminent council because ULA have an eminent council that is structured. So I beseech them to take hold of this situation and intervene and bring this to a logical conclusion. But I don't see the board giving in, and I don't see the leadership giving in as well.
Matter of fact, I contacted the chairman of, of
Eminent council.
yeah. All right, you go ahead. Let me pick this call.
Yeah. So like I stated rightly, this is this is unfortunate, and this need to or ULA need to be restructured. ULA also needs to kind of look at this unfortunate situation and learn from it because I haven't seen this before. It's unprecedented, and so cool. I hope at the end of the day, cool hair will prevail, but this is real unfortunate. And we're calling on all stakeholders that are involved to at least intervene and intervene now. Yeah, I'm back. I'm here. I just went on mute. Yeah. You can hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Like I said, we want the eminent council to take hold of this unfortunate crisis, and I'm thinking that they are working behind the scene to bring this to a halt and end this crisis, and so we can get a EULA that we all deserve. Because I know during your intro you spoke of organizations like EULA want to observe election in Liberia and want to be seen as a reputable organization. But now with all these crises that they can manage, they can structure their own internal mechanism to make sure that they're free and fair and transparent. So while we did even think of giving any suggestion to the government to and see how they can run their election. So this is unfortunate, and this has I don't know whether this has happened in EULA history before, but this is real unfortunate. You can hear me?
I just
You're breaking in.
can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, okay. I'm hearing you now. You're
Well,
breaking in.
I am just concerned about how you like what kind of phase are they going to have to go and probe into Liberia election, and let's say there was a issue. You
Yeah,
know, what can they say? You know, what advice can they give when you are in this country with a good governance system and you can't govern yourself, you can't even conduct your own election, and you want to go back home to go and give advice. And almost most of the you like guy they have been serving in government. Some of them being president. So it is a roadmap for our democracy.
yeah,
So I mean, it's just so embarrassing. I feel sorry for people who took off their time, spend their money to go and see democracy, go and enjoy the process, and then they were robbed of whatever thing they are really going to achieve. But I mean, I just hope that they'll be able to come to a smooth conclusion. Um, do you think the both sides holding onto something? Do you think they have some legal rights that they are holding onto?
yeah. I can say for five that uh, the the current administration are holding on to a provision that says they have 30 days to turn in power. So, worst case scenario, if Sherwan could have been defeated at the poll, he still have his transitional period to turn over power. You get me? So, also, they holding on to the provision in Falau Constitution that state that you have to be sent by your local chapter to Falao and by extension EULA. So the current board chair does not meet that criteria to be on EULA board. So you see,
But now let me just play the
so
devil.
that's what they are holding on to.
Right. So all right, so that is their strength.
Yeah.
What is FSC holding on?
FSCA is holding on to the clause that says if there's no or if there's a lap in leadership, so the board is the highest decision-making body,
Right.
from the exception of the General Assembly, where you can go, you vote in new leadership and change constitution and amend anything. The board is the highest decision-making body, so their power triumphs that of the EULA president. So you see, so they can set interim leadership.
Right.
They can appoint acting chairman. So if you dissolve the board now, or if the board is not in good standing, so the the chapter leaders have to send a board membership to convene the board. So without the chapter, there's no EULA.
Right.
So without Ohio, without Indiana, New York, and all these things, there's no EULA. So the EULA membership is based on the chapter memberships. So they rely on one another. They are mutually exclusive. You see, so and it's this same membership that made up the board and make the board the highest decision making body.
Right.
So now they're in crisis. So who come and solve the crisis? The board. But if the leadership is not recognizing the board, or say the board is out of status, or the board chairman at least is not legitimate, so that's a constitutional crisis there. So the only person that can solve this unbiasedly will be the eminent counsel.
That will be Imaiwati and his
No,
team.
no, it's headed by another guy. I was just looking at it before I came.
Okay.
I think Emmanuel Weti is part of it, but it's headed by another guy. Yeah. So I know they are working behind the scene to mitigate this crisis. But like you said, if EULA, that's quote unquote supposed to be a professional people,
Right.
who draft or who can draft policies in Liberia, election policies, governing policies, development policies, and people like you said that come from America here that go to Liberia and serve as president or vice president and all these things. So if they can come together and settle their problem or they impasse, so how do we expect people in Liberia to handle themselves?
That's my worry right there.
And they're coming from a country that has, or that supposedly is the father of democracy in the world. All this freedom. People that will put mechanism into place just in case this happens. What should we, what the reliance? What should we rely on? And they're in crisis now.
I mean, this is a let's go to our last talking point. That is the fight between Fulao and LRCI. What is it? Why LRCI is having struggle with Fulao? Yesterday they were in bed together. They were good buddy yesterday. Why are they fighting now?
So I don't know, the chicken or the rooster I come home to roast. That's kind of situation like that. Mind you, Afresie is the chairman for Falao. You get me?
Right.
The current EULA board chair is the chairman for Falao.
Right.
I think there's an internal wrangling within Falao by extension LRCI. You get me?
Yeah.
So Falao and LRCI, I'm not in sympathy with any one of them, because this is what they have been doing for years. So now the LICR president said, no, this is all business that you guys been doing. But mind you, he was doing that too when he got elected as Eastern Regional VP. They
Mhm.
did that. So because they were in bed together then, but now since they are no longer in bed, he sees different direction for Eula. Now he want to circumvent what had been happening before, and now Falau is not having it. Falau say, look, the how we used to select the delegate to go to Eula and vote. You get me?
Yes.
So why you want to change it now?
Mhm.
You see? But and I'm not supporting Falau. You know, anything that's not done right is not done at all.
Yeah.
It hasn't been, they have not been doing it the right way from the get-go. So now the LICR president or executive director want to do it the right way, and now the man and Banji. The man said, no, what brought you to election? We selected few people that know that will go vote for you as delegate. Those people went to vote for you. So now you want to put somebody in the leadership and you want to, mess with the list. You see? And then I saw an email between one of the so-called no, not so-called, one of the progressive, I take that back. It's not so-called self-style progressive that they send out an email like a week before the final suggestion of late to be good in good area with LICR. LICR is saying, let's restructure the whole thing. In
Mhm.
order to go to Falau as a delegate, you got to be in good standing.
With
You
a
got
local
to
chapter.
a deal, you got to be in good standing. You get me?
Mhm.
So, and they also give another analogy that the selection process got to come from LRTR. So you see, but
So,
no, the
so now,
financial guy is
so,
saying
so,
no. Mhm.
so if the selection comes from the local chapter,
Yeah.
does it go to Fulao for vetting and then get approved? Or what is Fulao role if the local chapter do the listing?
Our role here is to allocate a number to this local chapter.
The
The
local
local
chapter.
chapter is not only LRTR.
Right, yeah,
It's,
yeah.
it's the Cleveland branch, it's the Toledo branch, it's the so-called super delegate, their buddies who they want to put on the list. So, but they allocated only 10 slots to LRCR. They allocated 10 also to Cleveland, and they allocated 10 to Toledo because Dayton and Cincinnati are not active.
Mhm.
So LRCR, the bear grumble, they said, no, we operating and we were getting 50 slots. So you can't get only 10.
Right.
You have to divide it equally. 3 divided by 50. You see?
Something.
Yeah. So they said no. So the guy said no. I only allocate to this chapter, so your vet your people and send it to all. So the remaining 20 is at my description to select people. So LIC had this far protest. They said no. The people you selected are not active members in LICR here. But look, the Falau constitutional say they can be in good standing, but if they say only LICR should vet them, it can
Mhm.
be any community leader like you, Judge Powell,
Yeah.
that follow Julio, and they can select you. Allow can select you, they can select all prominent people. Just look at the listing and see those who are on that list. Are people that are not even in, some of them are not even engaged with a community like you or other prominent people. So this have been closed door lists,
Right.
mystery list. But it's good that it got exposed.
Mhm.
Now, any listing that going to EULA will have to vet that list.
Right.
If
Right.
it's coming from LICR, we got to vet that list. And
Yeah,
we have to put in mechanism as to who will be represented as a delegate in ULA's election. So going are the days that they used to sit and just send lists.
and
No,
then decide who
no,
the
no, yeah, and decide who to go.
yeah.
So yeah, so it's
I
a
mean,
good thing too.
for you see, there's a Bible. It said, "Town trap is not a rat alone."
Right alone,
Because
correct.
when that track catch snake, And a better time you where once you die, golden all will die, cow
Yeah,
will die, chicken
yeah.
never get involved.
With that,
We
you're right.
when we saw the biasness of Flower, we
Yeah.
raised issue.
Yes.
This gone election in Ohio. They just selected the people that they wanted to select. They left some of all who are actively involved into the community. They left our name out and they chose their name, but it was okay because LRC are benefiting.
Yeah.
Now
So
that they have been
mhm,
marginalized,
yeah.
then it become a serious issue. But I mean, it's good that these things are coming up, and so that next election we will have to know the names, we have to know the people who are going to represent, you know, the 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 community.
So I'm gonna be honest here. I would give a kudo and heads up to LRCR leadership by standing tall now, though. Even though it's not too late, they should have done it years back,
Right.
but standing tall to the leadership of Falau and Yula and making sure that, you know, any list can just be sent like that. But meanwhile, they benefited from the list years back.
Hmm.
But now they're trying to do the right thing. And if they're trying to do the right thing equally so, they are listing, they submitting to Yula or Falau to cannot be a list that questionable.
Right.
People with same name or relative or close associate. No, it shouldn't. The selection shouldn't have been based on that. It should
Hmm.
have been based on the consultative meeting by the entire community. You get me?
Hmm.
Religious community, the elders, and other organizations within Columbus. It
That's
shouldn't.
how it's supposed to be.
Yes,
The newsmaker, the people who runs the community.
yes. So I thank them for exposing Falau and Yula, but they benefited from this the irregularity and illegal listing summation. They benefited from it before, but my hat out to them that they're exposing it. So this cartel or this kebab need to be exposed, and I see their exposures is nearing.
The next thing we need to work on is for our constitution.
Yes, it
We
need
need
to
to,
be
we need
done.
to restructure for our. We need to put in so many new things to make it more functional. Like I've been raising the issue that we don't know the function of Fulao.
No, yep,
We don't know it. We don't know that Fulao even exists. Because in the whole of Ohio, what did you get about LRCA? And
eh, eh,
LRCA, it does not represent the Labrador in Ohio.
no, no, no.
Fulao is supposed to be doing these things. So it's good that maybe when they get done with their electoral crisis and everything, we need to get back on the drawing board, go back to Fulao, restructure Fulao constitution, and put in so many new things because the old business that they've been doing as usual. Thank God some of them they were marginalized and they are now voicing it out. So it gives more opportunity, for a lot of changes.
Yeah, yeah. So you see, Julio is just standing by. Like you said, Julio have been engaging Falau on this discrepancy and
Mhm.
their function and all these things. We got a letter to that effect. We have written them. We have questioned their judgment. We have questioned their biasness. And then all of a sudden, something broke loose that exposed
Right.
both Falau and LRCI.
Yeah.
It just I mean it's surreal, and I see they are going back and forth. Is we have been advocating for this, and we'll join the right side. We're not going to stand by the people who been marginalized in the community.
No.
It's so good they've been exposed. We know them. We see what they've been doing. We know they don't stand for anything. They are self-centered, and I mean, I'm just glad that they got exposed,
Right.
and they continue to get exposed as well. So, uh, I mean, I don't want you to relent on this. You got to keep sharing light on it as much as possible. Keep calling all the stakeholders that are involved. Let's discuss this. It
Mhm.
shouldn't dial down and expose those who are in this for just their self.
Yes, sir. I
Yeah.
mean, we exhausted our talking point. That maybe to just recap. Do you think you are gonna have election or we're gonna have an interim leadership?
I think ULA will have an interim leadership and our interim president or chairman for the board that will lead us to election. And then we'll be looking at what the interim leadership will be doing. We might send a communication to them in their the delegate selection process that we disagree with. We think is flawed. It need to be overhauled. It need to be fixed before any election. So
Right.
I think the progressive too who took this fight to Philadelphia. I think they took a good fight, and we just look to see. But I know they'll have election, but not under the current chairmanship or the
Yeah.
the president. Yeah, I think an acting leadership will lead Yola into election.
Well, folks, we are just joining us. We are about to wrap up. We're discussing issue that concerns our Liberian community. Full how do you call it? ULAT, to be very, very specific. They've been having issue with their electoral process. We are disappointed that we could not host an election that will set example for the
Yes.
people in the diaspora to Liberia. Because if you want to advise your child, you got to give your own record. You got to give your history. Take for example, if your child make a low grade and you say, when I was in school, I was smart, I was focused on this and that. But if you were in school and you were not smart, you were misbehaving, you don't have any history to give that child.
Yes.
It's the same with what Folau is doing today. They got no history to tell Aren people, especially come October 10th. If they had a very successful election, we will have a say in this
In
in
this
this.
election, I agree.
But right now, you don't have any say.
Yes,
You can say anything. You can point to anything. We get people be there. Man, why you trying to tell me? Even you can not even conduct yourself. Well, how do you want to tell me? And
well done.
so it is a wrong footing, and we need to put stop to it. Flower need to be rehauled. We want a change in Flower. We want a new constitution in Flower. We want to be involved.
Yeah.
Gone are those days where people just do friendship with Flower and they just do their selection, and everybody's on it. So right now, everybody's eyes are open.
Yeah.
So it is a good fight. Let's continue the fight. Let's keep engaging the guys until the change that we want it can come. Like my friend Serica Basiki, I can say, if we don't lead now, who will lead?
Yeah. Who will lead? You're right.
Now is the time that we lead.
Yeah, to conclude, too, thank you for sharing light on this. And thank you. Keep exposing, keep sharing light and bringing these to the media and all the fronts. So I will conclude by saying that we beseech the eminent council to intervene in this July crisis. And Falau need restructuring. Palau need to come back to the chapters members and see how we can restructure this delegate allocation. And LRCR too has to come to the table in selecting their delegates. They shouldn't just select delegate based on friendship or who know you, family membership. A delegate have to be inclusive of all organization in Columbus, and all leaders have to have a say in selecting the delegate that we send to is it being Eula or Falau. So let the community be vigilant and the progressive. I call you guys to keep the fight and be progressive. Hold these guys feet to the fire like you've been doing. Don't be deterred. We're on the right side. We're not on anybody's side. We're on the right side and the right thing to be done. we will join forces with every organization or individual who want to see this community move forward and move forward in the right direction. So I thank you for having me, and I'm open anytime. Once it's about the community, I will be here to discuss it and make sure we be fair.
Thank you very much. We are on the right side. We are not for anybody. Once you are discussing things that matter most of Liberia, we will be right there to stand with you. We are not on anybody's side. We are not for anybody. We just want to see
The
the
right,
right
no,
the right thing happening. So that's a very good one. So that people don't see it like, oh, you do is taking side. No, we are not taking side anybody.
no, no.
Once once you are doing the right thing, we will support you. The progressive, they came, they make their case, and their case exposed something. LIC also came out, they make their case also exposed something. So
So a
we just
lot of things.
we just want the ills to be brought out so that we all can be able to fight together. Because it's just about Liberia. It's not
That's our Liberia. Yeah.
like I always tell people, I don't have a permanent friend. I don't have a permanent friend.
The politician,
Yeah, I don't have a permanent friend. And you must have, how to misunderstanding on political issues stuff, and we cross path. It's not personal. Once that conversation is done, it's been done with.
yes,
I
it's
don't
not
keep quiet
personal.
about somebody because we had a political difference or something. No. One we discuss it, we scratch it out, we move forward with a new topic. So we are open to working with any group of people who are in the interest of the Liberian people. But what do we not do? We will not take side because you are our friend.
Thank you.
All right, sir.
Sweet, sweet, as I will leave you. Now for go alone. We take it from Peter today, boy. We take it from you tomorrow, Papa.
Well, for once, thank you for watching and joining us. It was a good time here discussing issues that matter most to our community. As I said, a very wonderful time. We'll be here again when issue unfolds. Discuss what matters to us. My name is J. Joshua K. Powell. I've been bringing you this program to discuss what matters. Have a wonderful time. God bless you.
Chicken they grow for